So I'm going to try to keep up in the chat. I'm sorry. I'm going to be speaking and kind of like letting people in. So try to just bear with us. It's really just being Kristen on tonight.
Do you want me to get started or wait a couple minutes for more people to jump on?
I will continue to let people in, and yeah, you can get started. So I will actually, hold on, we have a couple more people jumping in. All right. So welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I have Kristen, our secretary here. I'm going to share my screen and let Kristen go through and just do the presentation. I'm going to continue to let people in. And at the end, we will have like a Q&A. We probably try to cut this at 9:30. We do have a couple candidates on here too, so we'll invite them to say hi to everybody, introduce themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right, Kristen.
All right. Hi, guys. So bear with me. I literally made this presentation while my kids were eating lunch today, so it's not fancy at all. But I know if you're like me, you weren't involved at all in politics a few years ago until there was something that you were really passionate and that you really cared about. So it can be a little confusing because there are US senators and there are state senators, and then there are US Congress people, and then there are state House of Representatives. So it was really confusing. So we just kind of wanted to break it down for you in a way that was easy to understand and then let you know how you can get involved. So first we're going to talk about the US Senate. So each state has 2 senators regardless of size or population. And the US senators are elected every 6 years. So currently our US senators are Chris Murphy and Richard Blumenthal. They're both Democrats. And Richard Blumenthal is currently up for re-election, and he will face off against Leora Levy, who we had her on a Zoom call earlier in the year, like a month ago, before the primary. She ran against Themis Clarides and Peter Lumage in the primary, and she was like the apparent winner. Because a lot of the reason why is because she got a Trump endorsement like 2 days before the election. But she is really, really strong in our corner and totally supports medical freedom. So we're hoping that she will win against Blumenthal. So she's up against him. All right, and next is US Congress.
So just really quick. So again, like everybody, guys, this is like one of those statewide positions that again, everybody can vote for. So we're going to break it down by district soon, but everybody can get behind her. So it's just really important. Again, a lot of these candidates are going to be per your district and like your town and zip code and stuff, but everybody can get behind the statewide candidates. So all these guys we're talking about right now are statewide. So definitely put a sign up if it's your district, or just grab one again, because this is something that everyone across the whole state can vote for. These are different. Go ahead, Kristen.
Right. So US Congress, it's the amount of US Congress people elected per state depends on the population of each state. So Connecticut has 5 US congressional districts. It ranges, like some states have 1 because their population is so little. So we have 5. So this is something that you have to check the district map to see which district you live in. I'm in District 3, New Haven County. So Rosa DeLauro is my representative. District 4 is mostly Fairfield County plus Oxford. So you could kind of see on the map, and it's really according to the population. So all 5 of these districts are controlled by, they're all controlled by Democrats right now. None of them support medical freedom whatsoever. And these positions are elected every 2 years. So this year we're going to be electing, for each of these races. So I will say that Larry Lazor, we're not really familiar with him at all. He is a Republican. Mike France is definitely in our corner. He was a state representative, right? He was
Yeah.
he is currently a state representative, so now he's running for U.S. Congress. Leslie DeNarnis is running against Rosa DeLauro in my district. She's great. She definitely stands for medical freedom. Jamie Stevenson does support medical freedom. And then George Logan is my personal favorite. There's a picture of Kate with
This
him.
guy right here.
He was our state senator where I live, and he testified at our religious exemption hearing in February 2019 on our side, and he is so strongly in our corner. He is just like phenomenal. So
Nice when you don't really have to lobby them, right? They just support you. That's
yeah. The Republican Party is like throwing a lot of advertising his way because he's in a district that really can flip its to red, hopefully,
right
that corner of the state. So we're really, really hoping that he gets a big win in that district.
So again, like if you look up here, so I'm over in this side, which is like, obviously it's like almost half the state over here is too. So this is Mike France, and he was a rep for a while. I would say he's like a moderate conservative. He's definitely supported us since the very beginning of us forming. He definitely would speak on our behalf, you know, in hearings and stuff. And I think he's moderate, but he was on a caucus. I think it's the conservative caucus. And, you know, he invited me to speak and testify at a hearing about vaccine mandates, which was really nice. Like they didn't have to have the hearing. It was literally just to hear how vaccine mandates had affected people. So I'm definitely behind him, and he's going against Joe Courtney, who is awful. Joe Courtney's done nothing for Connecticut.
Courtney must go.
But yeah, it's like it's almost half the state right here. So he's definitely behind us. But he just, I don't know. He came to a couple of our events this summer, which was nice. And then, yeah, again, George Logan. So I would say these two are 100% behind medical freedom. And a couple, again, of these people they're just not super out about it, I guess. All right, you want to move on to the next one?
Sure.
All right.
So this is where it gets confusing. So those are the people who, when elected, they go to Washington and they make all the bills in Washington. So now we have the Connecticut State Senate, and when they're elected, they go to Hartford to make all the bills. So the amount of state Senate districts in Connecticut is determined by the population in each district. And the Connecticut state senators are elected every 2 years. We have 36 Senate districts, and we are going to be re-electing all the state senators this year in 2022.
Yeah.
So here's another map, and you can see how it's done by population if you want to.
Yes. Okay, so this is it right here.
So there it is. Now it says
it just changed.
So that's where it gets a little bit confusing because they just decided to redistrict in 2021. A lot of it is to give, sometimes they do it like the Democrats do it to give themselves like an advantage. Like, for example, like Liz Linehan got a corner of Hamden. Mary Wheelander is like my state representative, and she is going to get a corner of Hamden, and Hamden's a city, and in cities they elect mostly Democrats. So that's kind of the reasoning for some of the redistricting, and whatever party, gerrymandering, whatever party is in charge at the time, what really gets to like decide how the districts work.
So we're actually labeled a far right organization, but that's like the farthest thing from the truth. Just a lot of Republican candidates are the ones that have been outspoken for medical freedom, but there is a candidate, and he is over in Bridgeport, and he's a Democrat, and he's been very outspoken for us, Jack Hennessy. And he said that he was redistricted by, you know, Matt Ritter had a really big part of this. He's our Speaker of the House. He's totally against medical freedom. And he lost part of Trumbull and got, I think, part of Stratford. But he lost like 1,000 like people. Like it's a ton of people for a House district, you know, like a spot for a district. And they did it to try to get him out, to try to get another Democrat in. So really sticky situation going on there. but this affected a lot of people. So I think it's causing a lot of confusion this election. People think they have their same person, and like Anne Dauphinée lost some of her people and she gained a good town, but she did lose some support. You want to go to the next slide or?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So that's,
So the next
again,
slide.
that's the Senate, but this is the House.
Yep, so the House, again, is dependent on the population in each district. They're elected every 2 years. We have 151 House districts, and they're all up for re-election again. So here is a map of this House. So like, you can just see it's, just smaller and definitely dependent on population. Like the less populated areas, there like is a larger amount covered by the representative.
So yeah, I forget where it is, but he lost part of this, and I don't know. Crazy. Yeah, it gets really small in here, but it's really important to know how to find your representation. So we're going to teach you guys how to find which district you're in. Because again, everybody has one House rep from one of these districts and then one senator from one of these districts. So you really need to find out, because that's who you're voting for. And they voted on things like vaccine mandates, extending the state of emergency, which we're still in right now. They have a really big impact on your life, and like the masking, the mandates, all that stuff. So really, really important to know who these people are and how you can get behind the people that support, medical freedom. Do you want to take the statewide officials?
Sure. Well, you want to talk about the governor race?
Sure. So I have endorsed Bob Stefanowski for governor. These are all the candidates that are running for governor right here. So there's 6 executive positions. So again, these are statewide positions. All of us can vote. Doesn't matter what House or Senate district you fall into. Ned Lamont is 110% against choice for vaccines. He got rid of the religious exemption for daycares, K through 12 education. It's affecting universities too. Very, against parental rights, a lot of things that CTRAMM doesn't even get into, but he has never taken one phone call or responded to one email. And I've been, lobbying for about 3 years now as the president. So he's total garbage as far as wanting, support from a governor. I reached out to Bob Stefanowski probably like a year and a half ago, and he responded to me right away. And I've been working with him a lot, trying to just let him know how parents feel and, what we want. He did release a bill on parental rights. And he did say in that bill that he is opposed to COVID-19 vaccine mandates. One of the first places we'd like to tackle it is at the colleges that are requiring it right now. I know UConn's requiring it. I teach at a university that just dropped their mandate, but a lot of them still have it. There's still some schools that are masking right now. So, again, if we want a governor that's going to support choice, the race is really between these two. You can see there's 3 other candidates. Aaron Lewis did not get on the ballot. He was short signatures, but I heard that he might write in. Robert Hodling is an independent. He's definitely running. And I don't know much about Michelle. Do you know anything about her, Kristen?
No.
Yeah, so I've just been working with who I thought was the most realistic candidate to beat Lamont. And, he's a candidate that supports vaccines. He's definitely no Ron DeSantis, but he's also somebody that has sat down with us and like really worked with us. And he definitely helped get the mask off the kids. Like we reached out to him, and in like a month, Lamont removed the mask off the kids. So it was definitely like political pressure. I'd like to think anyway. So really hoping, if anybody wants to sign, let me know. He's got places set up all over the state. We'd really like everybody to at least put a sign in their yard, or, he's looking for help with door knocking, phone block calling. So just let me know. Lieutenant governor is automatically going to go with whoever gets the position. So if he gets it, Laura will go with him, but that's who we're voting for there. And then attorney general, William Tong is 110% against parental rights. He supported removing the religious exemption. He's fighting the religious exemption lawsuit. that's being led by Informed Choice Connecticut, Leanne Ducat, and Kevin Barry, Lindy Urso, and Jim Ramiguez. That's actually being heard in a couple days on September 21st. So we'll post about that in CTRAMM. But he's tried to dismiss the case. We finally got a judge that refused to dismiss the case. And, you know, like, I don't know if anybody was paying attention to this Project Veritas thing that happened. I think it was like about a month ago now, but there was an assistant principal in Greenwich, Connecticut that was caught saying horrible things about not hiring religious teachers, lying to parents, not hiring anybody over 30, awful stuff. And instead of doing a serious investigation into this guy, he is hassling. He served the undercover company with a civil suit. This guy is like total garbage. So Jessica is running against him, Jessica Cordas. She is a parent, like, first. I think that's why she's running. So she was really fed up with the mask mandates. I think that's what inspired her to run, but she is a really great attorney. She does criminal defense, but she's come out to my neck of the woods, and we've got some really like stick in the mud, old school conservative Republicans that even sometimes when they approach me on stuff, I stumble a little bit. It's intense, you know, when somebody is very, very convicted in their values approaches you on something and it's a sensitive topic. And man, she handled every single conversation like a pro. Like, she can really handle her stuff. So I'm proud to stand behind her. I was delivering signs in my neck of the woods all day for her. So if anybody wants to volunteer for her, learn more about her, you know, we'll put her website up. But she's great. Secretary of the State, again, we do medical mandates, but I am endorsing these candidates too. So Dominic Rapini, I've been going to a lot of events over the past 3 years. This guy's been at every medical freedom event. He's just always there. He's like the Energizer bunny. I don't know. He's a good guy, and he's definitely all for medical freedom. So their job is really election security and integrity and stuff. And I think he'd be a really good fit for that. There was a couple mistakes on the ballots during the primaries, and he was on top of it. I think there were 3 errors in 3 different towns, and he had it fixed within hours. So he definitely knows what he's doing. Treasurer, I'm endorsing Harry Aurora, and then Comptroller Mary Fay. Sean Scanlon voted against, or he voted for the removal of the religious exemption. He's a horrible person. He actually met with constituents, and they said, you know, do you really support kicking kids out of school? And he said, yeah, because in New York, when they kicked all the kids out of school, they kicked 26,000 kids out of school. They removed the religious exemption. He said half of those kids ended up getting vaccinated up to the schedule. So this guy is someone that supports like, you know, holding education over like a single parent, you know, somebody that's maybe divorced, can't move out of state, you know, horrible situations. He supports like strong arming them into doing something against their will to get his way. So this guy's comptroller, you know, they're in charge of a lot of the finances and balancing the budget inside of the state. Mary Fay's like totally with us. She's come to a couple of our events. She's really high energy. You know, these people like the treasurer, secretary of state, comptroller, they really don't have to be out for medical freedom. They're not really voting on things that have to do with medical freedom. So the fact that they're just comfortable coming out and saying, no, we support you, it says a lot to me. Because again, they don't really have to do it. So those are 3 people that I'm behind. And again, Jessica and Stefanowski, Laura Devlin.
One thing I want to add about the governor race is that I know a lot of people in CTRAMM really love Aaron Lewis, and we do too. He's spoken at a lot of medical freedom events in the past, but like, you know, realistically, he's a write-in candidate, and Lamont is 10 points behind Lamont in the polls. So, you know,
Stefanowski is 10 points behind him.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Yeah. Stefanowski is 10 points behind Lamont in the polls. So everyone who votes for like the independent or the libertarian candidate is going to take votes away from Stefanowski. And we can't have that.
He lost by 46,000 votes last time, and 46,000 votes, and the independent candidate took 65,000 votes, I think it was. So it's like, you know, I'm actually very annoyed that anybody would split the vote like this instead of work together and try to come up with a solution. Like Aaron Lewis would be wonderful, you know, working with Stefanowski, you know, down the line. And I would love to see him in the State Department somewhere, but you know, I don't want to see any of these people wasted. I don't really know Robert Hodeling's position on mandates, but that was a really contentious. There was the independent endorsement went really sour for Bob tried to get it, and they put up their own candidate at the independent caucus, and it was really weird. The guy won by 1 vote, and it was like the chair's vote. So there's a lot of bad energy going on between the parties instead of working together, which it just hurts us in the end. Like the parents that just want everything to go back to normal, just want, one candidate that respects parents. Instead we have 3 candidates that possibly respect parents, and we're going to split the vote between them, or get the one candidate that doesn't respect parents at all. It's just, it's really sad to me. So I posted something today, about kids can dress up however they want in school today. These kids are dressing up like furries in school, but religious exemption kids got kicked out of school. Like that's the state we're living in right now. And to me, it's just sad. Kids can express themselves, but not, have vaccine choice. It's like, I don't know. It's really sad to me, the state we're living in, and to just have infighting and get Lamont again. I don't know. It's really hard. But anyway, so again, how to find your legislators. This is the most important thing about this meeting tonight. So this is the website you go to right here. Let's go ahead and go to it. So if everybody wants to copy this, I'll go ahead and throw it up in the chat.
You can also just Google like CGA, find your legislator, and that'll come up too.
Yep. So let's go up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my information in. So some of these districts are divided right down the line. So you really have to put in like your specific house number to find out your exact district. So I entered my town, my street name, and my house number, and then bam, right here. So it shows me who my current House rep is and who my current state senator is. So I'm in the District 45 for my House, and for the Senate, I'm in Senate District 18. And again, we all have Richard Blumenthal. We all have Chris Murphy. These are the guys that work in DC. All right. And these are the guys that stay here and work in Hartford. Right. But they vote on really important, all of them vote on really important bills. But when we're going to Hartford for rallies, these are the people that are voting on the bills for us. This is again the stuff in Washington. And again, this is my congressman per that district number 2, which we saw on that map was like half the district. Joe Courtney does nothing for Connecticut. Something also that needs to be said is that we try to make this not a Democrat or Republican thing, but everyone needs to know that Connecticut has a very progressive Democrat majority. It's not moderate at all. I think it got like 30% more progressive at the last election. So everywhere down the line federally, for every single position, it's Democrat. There's not one Republican anywhere in our Congress, anywhere in the majority in our House and in our state Senate is also Democrat. And then we have a Democrat governor. So all 3 branches of state government is Democrat, and every federal branch of government for Connecticut is Democrat. And they're not moderate Democrats. They're very progressive. So I feel like they're making an example out of the state of Connecticut. Like we're very close to New York. But Lamont's done a lot of things that Cuomo was doing before they got rid of him. And, he does a lot of Newsom-like stuff too. So it's sad that we don't have one seat that is, again, not even conservative, but just someone that respects medical freedom. We don't have anybody that controls anything in any position right now that respects medical freedom. Everybody that works with us is a minority. Which makes it really hard for us, right? So that's where you go to find your representation. If anybody wants to stay on and get more help, we're happy to help you here. Kristen, do you want to take it over? I think there's a couple more.
Yeah, so, well, and then if you, Kate has like great representation. She has like 2
Right.
Republican support medical freedom, but I don't. So
Yeah,
if
so again, over here. So both, and
once
you
you
can also see what bills that they've written if you want to click on their
Right.
bills over here, which is, you know, Brian, I actually was in math class with him like my entire high school life. So it's really funny that he lives right down the road from me. He's a really great guy, but these are all the the bills that he's proposed. And Heather Summers is, I would say she's like moderate Republican, but she got very outspoken for us the second time they tried to repeal the removal of religious exemption, and she tried to introduce some bills to prevent like COVID vaccine mandates, and you know, it's, again, she's got like a ton of stuff, but I can reach out to these people, like I have them on speed dial at this point, right? But before I was a lobbyist, I could reach out to them and they'd reach back out to me because they support me. But like Kristen's saying, if two names pop up here that don't support us and you're not getting a response.
Yeah, so it's also important to look at the district number to know what district you're in. So once you know the district, you can click
Right
on,
here.
check out that Ballotopedia website.
Oh, sorry.
Not click on that. No, yeah, I was just saying there's the other link. Yeah. So the Ballotopedia website, you can go to that and it'll tell you who is challenging them. So, you know, like I have two Democrats who are my representative and senator. So I can go to there and type in my district, or you can even like just browse the list to see who's running. I found this website to be really helpful.
So again, like it shows the person. So he's, you know, the incumbent, and then this is who's running.
And
Again,
then,
yeah, and he's reached out to me a bunch. He's nice, and you know, like honestly, if you're in the independent party, and you're gonna vote for them. I respect that decision. Like I don't, it's not that I don't respect that decision. I just think that if you look at the polling, it's really ends up being between two candidates, and I just can't take another majority, like Democrat majority, that doesn't support medical freedom. It's really hard to lobby in this kind of environment. We just keep getting beat down. But yeah, it's really important again to look for your district number so that you can find who's running. And this again shows everybody.
so if you want to go back up to the top, you can search by like what position it is too.
Right here.
So like where it says on the ballot US Senate. So if you just want to click on like state Senate.
I'm
or
sorry.
State House, it's like under where it says elections in Connecticut to 2022. So no, in the blue.
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you click on like state Senate.
Got it. Okay.
And then it'll show you the
Oh,
candidates in each district, which is really helpful. So I am District 17. So our current senator is Jorge Cabrera, and it'll show you that Kathy Hoyt is running against him. So you know, I've been working with Kathy Hoyt on her team. She's really supportive of us. So that's just helpful to know in case you want to find out who's running against your current representation.
I can tell you that the majority, I think so, the only two Democrats that worked with our organization were, let's see, so Dennis Bradley, and he did not win the primary. So this person, we lost someone that supported medical freedom, and then she is on the ballot. She supported the religious exemption. She was the only senator. She was the only Democrat that supported it, but I'm supporting him. So
And then is David Michelle running again or no?
he's in the House, so this is
In the
the
House,
Senate.
yeah.
So let's see if
Yeah.
he's running again. Then again, Jack Hennessy is going through a nightmare right now. Matt Ritter is putting up, oh my gosh, what's his name? I can't remember the guy's name that he's putting up against him, but it was like the primary was like maybe 1 or 2 votes, so they're redoing the primary. So there's so many House districts, guys, it's really overwhelming. So you just have to find, again, your number, but look at how many Democrats are and how, like, we have like such a hole in the
A lot of people
Republican
not
Party.
running, yeah.
Like it's not great. So why is he here?
Because he's running against Mary.
Oh, okay. I thought he was in the Senate. I'm so silly.
No, representative, yeah.
Okay. Yep. So again, you can go to that original website, the CGA website, and find your, oh geez, so many screens open. So this is where you see your district number again, and then you can go over to this and click at the top bar and find your district number and then click on your person. So let's see. So this guy's awesome. He wrote a great letter to Yukon. I really like him. You know, I think, where does it say what towns they are? I think that's the hardest part because it doesn't really list what town you're in. You really have to go to that website and find out exactly what district you're in. That map it's really hard to tell. So again, like, good luck finding out what district you are by looking at this map. You really got to go to the CGA website and enter it in, especially because this is new. Everything was changed, so everything shifted around a little bit for this election. So you might be in a new district. Okay, so where are we? All right, so this is,
We're good with that. Yep. All right. So a lot of people think that you have to be some like crazy campaign manager or something to volunteer. But really, you can do really simple things to volunteer. And all of these candidates really, really, really need your help. I know, like in my town, my state representative candidate is like amazing, but he doesn't have a lot of people helping him out. So one thing you can do is request a lawn sign. A lot of the candidates have websites with a link that says like volunteer or ask a question. And like some of them will even have like a Google form that you can fill out to request a lawn sign. So that's a really easy thing that you can do. And the lawn signs are delivered to your door. You can also volunteer to be someone who delivers lawn signs to other people's doors. So what, like the campaign manager will just give you a list of lawn sign of addresses, and you just have to go drive around town. It takes like 2 hours on like a Saturday or Sunday, and stick a lawn sign in someone's yard. So that's
what I did today.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing it this week too. So those are two really, really easy things that you can do. You can also make phone calls. I know making phone calls is scary for some people, but there's always a script. There's always a script. And if the person and usually you get voicemails, and the person on the other end, if they like answer and they have a question, all you have to do is say like, I'd be happy to have the candidate give you a call back to like tell you more about his or her platform. When is a good time? And just like take a message basically. So it's really not as intimidating as it seems. Also, there's a lot of candidates who are looking for people to go door knocking with them. I know like Kathy Hoyt, she just likes to take a couple constituents with her, you know, just get to know them and go around to different neighborhoods, because it's not fun when you're a candidate and it's like 85 degrees like it was today and you're walking around town by yourself. It's always nice to have someone with you to keep company. You can also do some campaign lit drops. So you basically, again, the campaign manager will give you a list of addresses, and you drive around town, just hanging up palm cards, which just have like the candidate's information on them, on people's doors. And if somebody if somebody's home and questions you about it, just be like, oh, I'm just dropping off some information about the election. You don't have to get involved or anything. I've done it like the past I did it last election. I went out, I was like on maternity leave, and I went with like a friend and my 1-month-old baby in the car, like once or twice a week to do it, drive around town. And I volunteered for other campaigns too in different towns. And I never had like anybody make any negative comments to me or be like, get off my property, what are you doing here? So it's really not that bad. Another thing that is huge that I think people don't realize is that you need to be commenting and liking the social media posts that the candidates post. I know like I'm working with my friend Daniel that I was talking about, Daniel Cowan, and I'm like helping him with his social media. And there's like 2 people who I can always depend on to share his posts and like them and comment. And I just like love them so much. And like, thank you so much for commenting. It really is so helpful. And they're constantly sharing his posts. So that's something super easy. We're all scrolling through our phone, you know, like just like comment like 100% or a heart or something just to help the algorithm give it more visibility. And, just talk to your friends. Don't be afraid. You can be like a crazy person like me and wear your mom's for Bob shirt to soccer and baseball and Trader Joe's today. And you don't even care what my husband's like, people are going to hate you. I'm like, well, they already hate me. And some
Yeah.
people might not. Some people might like strike up conversation. So yeah.
Football game. I wear it to every football game.
Yeah. So, like all of these things, like they take like an hour a week. We all scroll through our phone more than an hour a week, I think. So hopefully we can, at least commit an hour a week. That's like what we really want from the CTRAMM group, is to have everybody who's a member, like take an hour a week and help someone with a campaign. Even a half an hour will make a huge difference. And just to let them know that you're there, and that you're not always going to be available to say yes, I can do whatever, but you'll do your best, or just say like, I'm available this day for this hour, what can I do to help you?
So also, like, if the mask mandate was a big thing to anybody that you know in your town, and you also know people that do not want a COVID-19 vaccine mandate for K through 12 education, it's really important, that everybody that's at least on this call know that Pfizer submitted their application, so they could basically get approval at any point in time now, anytime after September 16th, 2022. So it's September 18th. So they could really have full authorization approval from the FDA. And our Lamont's appointed Department of Public Health Commissioner said that she supported this time last year when she was elected or put in her position by Lamont. She said that she supported a K through 12 COVID-19 vaccine mandate. So just something I want everyone to have on their radar. Like, if you personally know somebody that was opposed to that, definitely let them know they have to get out and vote on election day, because like our organization was so swamped with helping people with religious exemptions that had no idea what they were for employment. It went so far beyond opposing the removal of the religious exemption with our organization. We grew into this huge thing, and my fear is that not enough people are going to go out and vote on election day. And then, we have to go through what we went through for the past 4 years with this super left progressive majority that they don't even respond to us, which is, again, it's really hard for an organization like ours to stay around because we just get so beat into a corner. And when we went to the polls in our area, like Dominic Rapini and Leora Levy for the primaries on August 8th, Leora won by a good amount, but Dominic won by 2 votes in our town. That's how much he won the primaries by, it's just crazy to me. Like, every vote matters. And then, Bob Stefanowski lost the independent endorsement by 1 vote. I tried so hard to get as many independent candidates out as I could that night, and so many people went out and they thought they were independents. They were actually unaffiliated. So there's that bit of information too. Like, next time, there's a primary, really know what party you are. Again, there's an independent party, there's the Green Party, the Libertarian Party, Republican, and Democrat. If you're registered independent, it doesn't mean you're independent of any party. It means that you're registered with that party. They have a caucus, they put up candidates, if they can find them, statewide and by district. So the only people that do not have a caucus and put up candidates are people that are literally unaffiliated voters, and they make up they're like the largest block of voters in our state. So it's actually the most people in our state are unaffiliated. But there's definitely that bit of education that everybody needs to know as far as being involved in, before the midterm type of events, if you want to vote in primaries and stuff. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, can I tell you, I went to my town hall to find out why I wasn't registered as a Republican or whatever. And she said that you're unaffiliated. So how'd that happen? I've always been an independent. She goes, oh, we don't have independent on our list. That's not an option. So I said, well, I made it an option. I made her write it. I did. I wasn't accepting that. So literally on their sheet, you only have the choice of Democrat, Republican, or unaffiliated. There's no independent.
You have to write it in. Yeah.
I had to write it in, yeah.
Yep.
Can you post that Ballotopedia link in the chat?
Absolutely.
And Marcella, did you have a question? Your hand is raised. Hi.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. All right, so I just wanted to speak about the canvassing. I had never done it before 2020 myself, and I found it was easier than what I thought it was gonna be. Just giving a quick statement about why we're supporting this candidate. And it was easier than actually canvassing for the petition for the religious exemption, if you remember, Kristen.
Yeah.
Because with the religious exemptions, a lot of people, they didn't understand what we were saying.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like
Right.
they didn't seem to understand mandate. I
They
don't
didn't
think
feel like the writing on the wall, like the future implications of taking it away.
yeah, some people thought that we were actually promoting it, which was interesting. But I did not know that I was not in this district. I thought that I had like 2 reps. I didn't understand how my town was divided up. And I was like, what? Like, I'm not in your district? And that was a 3-minute walk down the street. And now like I'm in the district that I'm canvassing for. So I felt a little silly, but at the same time, you know, I was learning as I went, and it doesn't matter which district you choose. And I'm going to canvass for Carrie Lentz, who's in my town, but not my district. So signs can go anywhere. So I'm going to have her sign, and I've got to get a sign for Craig Fishbein, who is with us, even though he voted for mail-in ballots, unfortunately, but
Can't win them all, right?
and yeah, that's just what I'm saying. You can't win them all. It's just, but
Yeah, Carrie's
but at
actually
the
on
same
this call, I think. I think I see Carrie down below. Hi,
Yeah.
Carrie.
yeah, and I see signs for Fishbein's Democratic opponent, and my fear is that any new Democrat, they would just join party line,
Yeah.
like how the supermajority has been voting. So I do feel like it's worthwhile to vote him back in. And I learned that standing in line outside on election day was worth the effort. People were there before 6 a.m., before the polls even opened. So if I had gotten there like 15 minutes at 5:45, like, then I probably would have been able to speak to more people. And I said, what's that going to do? Like, to hand out palm cards? And well, the reality is that some people are just there for the big ticket.
Right.
They don't know all the local seats. So even though this is not a presidential race, they could be going to vote for our federal senators. And so they might not even know the local seat.
Right.
So I just said, Pam Salamone, she's for local control of our schools. And I thought that that was pretty agreeable. Like,
Right.
Let's get out there and walk. Well, we have September and October. These are prime months of weather in Connecticut. So,
Yeah.
it's not as intimidating as you think. Oh, now I remember what I wanted to say. Okay, so this one man, he said to me, we're not supporting Republicans this year because of Trump. And I was a little surprised. And I really thought I should have reiterated that these are local seats. Thank God, like my husband, he's yeah, he's not, he doesn't see things as I see them at this point, because he hasn't been to Hartford like how I have. But he says like he's fine voting Republican on a local level, but he voted for Mr. B. So I think that might be important if Mr. T ever comes up to say that, well, these are for our local
Yeah.
seats. And
I
this is
think it's
what's
really important to say, because this is not like this isn't a presidential election, and the Republican candidates up here are pretty moderate. They're not
yes,
radical. The ones that are very outspoken for medical freedom are even there. I don't think they're far right. I think they're just common sense.
yep.
So just I yell at Bob Duff all day on Twitter. That's all I really my life right now. And I'm constantly saying, like, what election are you running in? Because he talks about, like, the abortion ban in like down south or wherever. It's like abortion's codified, like in Connecticut, like nothing's changing. Like, what are you campaigning on? Like, they're just using it as a pawn to divide people. It's not about Trump. This election isn't about Trump. This is about not having Ned Lamont anymore. And a lot of these other horrible people that they just ice you out. That's really it. That's all they do. If they don't agree with you, they ice you out. And that's the difference that I have found between the GOP and the Dems. I used to be a Democrat, and when all this stuff happened, I was like, this is insane. I went to like unaffiliated, and now I'm Republican because I wanted to vote in the primaries. But the only people that responded to me, even if they didn't like agree with me about my stance on the COVID vaccine or vaccines in general, they were the only people that would talk with me. So, I can't reiterate it enough that, put your whatever you have to the side and just get out there. And if you're not a face-to-face, person, then make some phone calls for these people, or at least put like a lawn sign out and get like 5 other people to put a lawn sign out. Encourage like everyone in your house to vote. Again, like Dominic won by 2 votes in my town for the primaries. That could have been like me and my husband not going to vote that night. So every vote literally matters. And then, speaking about absentee ballots, I know that we're not all 100% there for them, but if you can't vote, this is how you go ahead and file for your absentee ballot. You have to make sure that you submit this application so that you're ready for election day. So I'll go ahead and put this in the chat. I'm actually going to be at a wedding down south the weekend before. I will be back for the election, but some people just aren't going to be here. So
I wanted to jump in, and before you do that, add to Marcella's point about canvassing.
Yeah.
I went canvassing with Marcella, and she like inspired me. I swear, because she was like so confident, and she would just go up to like everybody and start talking to them like with no fear. And I feel like she's like my inspiration for canvassing. So, but you had to realize that there are a lot of people in our medical freedom movement who have been at this for years and years. So you can post in a group like, I want to go, do literature drops for my local candidate, but I'm a little afraid to go by myself. Is there anyone in this group who's willing to go out with me? So like, it's
please use
like,
CTRAMM for stuff like that. Do a
Yeah.
post, prove it right away.
Yeah. And like definitely ask if there's anyone available to go out with you, because you'll definitely get some people who can volunteer, if not that day, then like in the future.
And if anybody wants to come out with me, I'm in New London County, and I'm totally willing to help out. Any candidates that need support. And then also we are doing, I see someone else with their hand up, and I'll call you in 1 second. But we're doing lives with candidates. I think we're going to do Facebook lives and not Zooms. But we're going to be doing them every Tuesday and Thursday after the 27th until election day. I think we have a couple of Sundays planned too, but I think we're going to try to do like 25, 30 candidates. I mean, it's going to be a good amount of candidates, just asking them like the basic 5 questions that we asked like Leora Levy, if anybody was on that. It went really well. We had like 50, 60 people jump on that. So, we'd like to have everybody hear what their candidates have to say, see what they need for support. So that will be available for all the CTRAMM members, for you to actually like get to know the candidate if you can't get out and meet them before election day. All right, I want to call in Erica. All right, go ahead, Erica.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, when I put my camera on, then my Zoom lags. So I am here. Down in Stamford, Greenwich area. I have a question about what happens if we get Stefanowski elected. Is he able to unilaterally repeal or reinstate the religious exemption, or do we have to also get a majority?
Yeah, that's what's so important. I mean, he supports repealing the removal of the religious exemption, but having Bob Duff be our Senate Majority Leader, having
Right.
Martin Looney be the president of the Connecticut General Assembly, having Matt Ritter be the Speaker of our House, all three of them are going to stop that as fast as they can. They are not going to allow him to do that. And I don't care what any other candidate says, because I heard Aaron Lewis say, I would go in there and repeal it in a second. It's not going to happen. I hate saying that, but the reality of the situation is this is why it's so important that all of you understand who your state senators and your House reps are, because if we don't get those branches of government, at least one of them back, then Bob's going to be, in a really weak position in the governor's seat, because he's going to be stopped at every turn. He's going to have a really tough governor's run if he doesn't have the majority in the House or the Senate. So please get out there, guys. I think it's, 9 seats that we'd have to flip in the Senate, and then, or maybe 7 to 9 seats in the Senate. And then I think it was 20 something seats in the House we have to flip. And you guys saw how many candidates we don't even have running in that ballot website. I mean, it was seriously missing. I don't know where it went. But there's some really, really horrible people running in the Senate too that have no one running against them. Douglas McCrory, he's in Senate District 2, no one running against him. Joan Hartley, she voted for the removal of the religious exemption. Naugatuck, no one's running against her. But look at that whole block of people like that right there. I mean,
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
we gotta get out there. I mean, honestly, I do think that, so in the municipal elections, we flipped 22 towns conservative. So people were really pissed then still, because the masks were still on. I think a lot of people have kind of just fallen to, back into like, they're being comfortable, the masks are gone, the mandate never happened. But I really, truly do believe if Lamont's reelected, we're going to see a COVID mandate. We were the first state in the country to mandate the flu vaccine for 24-month-olds to 56-month-olds. So if your kid goes,
he's just waiting for
waiting.
They're just waiting for this election to be over. That's
He
all.
won't say that he's not going to do it. Let's put it that way. Bob came out and said he was going to make a point that it would not happen. And Lamont won't say that he's not doing it. So
Right.
yeah, it's not a good election move. So if you look at the data on the state website, like 10% of parents got their kids fully dosed under the age of 12. It was like 50% got the first dose, but then only 10% of those people actually followed through with the second dose. So the majority of parents don't want to do this. Maybe they got it for themselves, but they don't want to see that as a mandate. So it's not a good campaign strategy. But yeah, I mean, he's absolutely in bed with everyone that would need to push that right on through. And I think that the Department of Public Health Commissioner is looking to make a name for herself. So, we'll see. She wrote some pretty serious letters regarding lockdowns when she was at Yale to the president in support of like completely shutting down the state of Connecticut. And this was again before she was the Department of Public Health Commissioner, but she was fully for lockdowns. Again, it's the campaign strategy is for the last, 6 months has been ease up, give everybody their freedom back, make everything seem like nothing happened. And, we're going to be in a really bad place again with this stuff if he's reelected. So got to flip those 3 branches. What district are you in, Erica? You said you're in Greenwich.
Yeah, I'm down. You know me.
I
We
know
met
you.
at
So you're
Casser. I was Casser's. Yeah, I graduated. I'm done. So I'm back now.
awesome.
I was
Good to
really
have
busy, but yeah, so I'm just kind of getting back in everything. But I'm down here with Aurora, Casser's old district.
Yeah. So Fazio, Ryan Fazio.
Fazio now, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's supportive. He's been to rallies. You know.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's great.
Oh, Amy Stefanowski has entered the waiting room.
Oh,
Hi, Amy. All right. So does anybody else have any questions? This went till 9:30. This is awesome, guys. Just gonna check the chat.
Can we let the candidates say hi?
Yeah, what is any of the candidates want to say hi to everybody, guys?
Carrie, you want to start? Sorry.
Where's Carrie? There she is.
How are you?
Hi.
Make this
Hi.
bigger.
Can you hear me?
I don't know why I can't. Oh, I could drag it out right here. There she is. Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Very
So
good. Thank
what
you so
towns
much.
are you running in?
Just Wallingford, District
Okay.
85. Yes. Yeah. And thank you guys so much for doing this. I know, even for myself, a couple of years ago, never had an interest in politics at all. Like everybody else, that concern as a parent for my kids, as a wife, my husband, all the way around, seeing what was happening, really pushed me forward to run. Again, if you spoke with me just a couple of years ago, I don't think I would have imagined that I would be here, but I can't imagine being anywhere else. I'm very glad to have this unique opportunity to run. And I really do look forward to representing our voices in Hartford. And I appreciate all the support.
Thanks, Carrie, for joining us, and thanks for stepping up to run.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
It's a really big deal. There's so many parents that are running. It would just be so amazing
Yeah.
to see like any of you at the Capitol, to be able to work with you on bills and protecting kids and, getting back to normal. Honestly, I feel like that's
Right.
what it would take. Like all these school boards, a lot of them are being run by people that didn't have kids in the schools anymore, and I feel like at the state house anyway, it's just being run by people that want things done a certain way, and it's really not even up there. It should be really great to see some moderate parents up there.
That's right. I will say, yeah, it is very interesting, again, not having followed politics for very long, to see this year how many parents really are out and about. There's definitely, quite a few. And I wondered, of course, over the years, is this really typical? Generally, I think we see maybe an older population, retired, and to see again, right, just the regular person, the parent, the concerned citizen. I think actually that also helps in my opinion. I feel, being middle-aged, which I am, I have kids in the school system, I have elderly mother. So I feel, at least for myself, with my district, I'm right there in the middle. As just a regular middle-class family, we have kids who are going through this right now, have elderly parents, where my opponent is elderly herself, her kids are, long grown. I just feel like living it firsthand is really, it's a different scenario, it's a different perspective. I just think being able to really, relate all the way around to all the different age, understanding the needs in our senior population, having, again, elderly parents and mom and father-in-law, and then having kids being middle-aged, I just feel it really does help give a perspective for each age group.
Yeah, I know that when I have told my mother-in-law like some of the things that have been going on, and she's a Democrat, my mother and my mother-in-law are both Democrats. They are like so shocked because what they consider to be, Democrat has gone so far progressive that it's
Right.
hard for them, so that neither one of them are supporting Lamont. They're both voting for Stefanowski, just again, because of how far left everything's gone. And it doesn't mean you should leave your party. It just means, look at the candidate and actually see what the candidate stands on, and look at the state that we're in, with the current, especially the statewide candidates and these majority leaders. They had a lot to do with it, you guys. So Absolutely. Thank you so much for coming on, Carrie.
Thank you.
And we'll see you on the 27th. That should be good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna go
Thank you.
live with Carrie on the 27th at 8:30 in CTRAMM. Try to get some people from Wallingford on so we can get some information out there.
Kate, can you turn off the screen share?
Yes, I
And
can.
then Dan Moresti is also available to speak.
Oh,
And I
awesome.
see Suzanne and I know Amy's on too.
Great. Okay, so is he under MC Leah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have Dan speak. Awesome. Oh, Dan. Thank God for Dan.
Hello, everyone.
Guys.
Hi. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. It's a Sunday night, but I just wanted to say hi. And
Oh, look at the puppy.
the puppies are here.
So cute.
Hello to the wonderful bride, Mrs. Stefanowski. I think they had an anniversary, I believe.
Aw.
Captain Rob is my guy. We love him. No, we just wanted to say that we're here. Going off of what Carrie said, how she's a regular mom and going close is. I have a very unique perspective because not only are we trying to start a life and start a family, but I'm not very far removed from schooling, and I feel like I was in the last era of sanity because I had parents like everyone in this group. And we were raised with a common value system of decency and integrity and liberty-based thought process. And we're just here and we're going to be on the front lines, and I'm here to take all the slings and arrows for this group, and I'll always stand with CTRAMM. And I mean, there's not really much more to be said. What's happening, everyone knows, is viscerally evil, and people just need to stand up and stop it. And if
You
we
guys
don't,
have gotten railroaded. I mean, I saw someone attack, is it your wife or your girlfriend, fiance? What are we going? What's going on?
probably all the above at this.
Your family. Yeah, I saw someone attack you in a park and basically say that you were racist for voting Republican. And it's like, it's just unbelievable. And that's because you have someone like Bob Duff, running your district, who all he does all day on social media is say anyone that supports Trump is a racist, homophobe, needs to be basically dealt with. Like it's really, really progressive stuff that you're
Well,
doing.
that's a good segue, and I'll leave it at this. And part of the reason why I wanted to hop on, and I wanted to just thank everyone for doing this, because like you said, Connecticut is a Democrat machine, and the only way we're going to defeat it is if we stand up to it and do it grassroots. And like I said, I'm running on the platform of liberty, and our whole idea of government was that common people would stand up to tyranny. And the fact that we are getting hate mail, as I like to call it, it's my favorite, keeps me going. It means we're over the target. It means groups like this are doing the right thing. It means we're really irritating them. They can't run on the issues. So just stay vigilant, stay strong. We have this race. We can do a lot of damage. And if we all just stick together, I really, really think we can flip a lot of these districts, and I'll be here till the end.
Yes. And now you have an independent candidate running against you too.
We do, Lisa Britton, and it goes back to your independent thing. The independent party, in my opinion, and this is not to besmirch anyone who has voted independent or believes in it, but it's very clear that this election, they have made a choice. And their choice is no dissimilar to what the Democrat choice has been, which is that the Democrats want to be progressives, and the independents are apparently at least okay with the status quo. Lisa Britton, she's campaigning, she's fighting for, like a lot of these independents, like what they did to Bob Stefanowski. They're trying to throw their own candidates in because they're trying to position themselves to be the Democrat light party for 2024, because they think republicanism, it doesn't work in Connecticut. But little do they know that republicanism is not Trump. Republicanism is simple citizen governance. It's people standing up for the local voices in their town, for what is right, for personal liberties, which includes medical freedom. And the independent party only wants to fight with the other side of the Democrat coin. And so what they're doing in this election, in my opinion, is showing their true colors. And like I said, people can vote however they want, but they should really look into the candidates and their motives behind why they're voting and why they're so vigilant about trying to make people vote independent. In my opinion, that's no different than trying to make people wear a mask. And that's all you need to know about their persuasions for getting into the race. So to me, it doesn't bother me. If anything, it just splits the vote even more. And to me, the only focus is Bob Duff, and he represents all of the tyranny here, and I'm going to go at him full bore for sure.
Yeah. And that's, so you're running in Norwalk and Darien, right?
Norwalk and Darien, District 25. And
Yep.
anyone on this, just danielmoressi.com. You can check out all the stuff, and we'll be back anytime you guys want me on. You know, I'm always here.
Yeah. So you have signage now? Did you get like a ton of signage, or what's your,
Leah she answers all those
you're
questions.
the lady for that? Okay.
So,
I'll hold the door.
fortunately, we just recently got our treasurer signed on. We were originally filed with the state as 1B for self-funded. And it was very hard to find a treasurer just because of Bob Duff and the menace that he is. There were many people that didn't really want to get wrapped up in it.
Yeah.
We did find someone who graciously volunteered their time. We submitted our application to Anadot so that we can get our online donation link up and running. But at this time, we are still raising money and gonna go to print soon with signs and whatnot. So we'll let you know when those come in.
And much like, sorry to interject, but much like this group, and again, not to begrudge, we have to do what we can to win, but especially in Norwalk and stuff, Connecticut, you're not going to get change if we get into politics and do the same thing, which is the CEP fund. There's a lot of problems with it. It's taxpayer money that people don't know about. And to me, if I'm going to get into politics and want to live my message, it can only be grassroots, because that's the only way people can actually believe in change. So that was another reasoning behind all this, and why I've been so appreciative of the platform you guys have given me. And this is Tucker, by the way.
He's cute.
May or may not be named after Tucker Carlson. You guys can.
I have 8 rabbits. I just named them DeSantis, Ron Paul. I don't know. We have a whole bunch of political candidates outside right now. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And
Thank you guys.
let us know. You're gonna come on too when we do the live. So
Yeah, whenever you want.
look out for that schedule. Coming out to everybody at CTRAMM. Hopefully we can get a ton of people on. I know so many people statewide that, want to help you out. So whatever
Yep.
we can do.
We'll carry the torch over here.
Yes. All right. And then we have Suzanne Wachowski. Bye guys. Want to invite
Kate,
her
how
on.
are you?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm good. Suzanne, representing District 29, running against May Flexer. Inspired, I was inspired, I've said it many times, by this group, actually, and by Kate, to run with the removal of the religious exemption. That was just not okay with me. So I'm fighting for medical freedom, among other things, of course. But that was one of my main reasons for getting in the race.
So how's it going? So she's going up against May Flexer. We did Senate district petitions, and she had, I think, 1,200 people sign her Senate district petition, and she refused to meet with any of them. She didn't respond to one email, one phone call. I mean, some of these people were awful to us. They responded to us and they were like, yep, we're voting it through. We don't care. Da, da, da. At least they responded. She wouldn't even acknowledge, these parents, and she had more than anybody else in the state. So I'm really hoping we can get rid of her.
She was truly a rubber stamp for her party.
Yeah,
she is in alignment with Pelosi. So whatever, Lamont wants, whatever Pelosi wants, that's what May is going to vote for.
Right.
We will never this state is completely run by that kind of ideology. And if we don't get individuals elected, this is our time. I mean, we don't have many weeks left.
Right.
So if you haven't volunteered or helped out or put out a sign, do it now. Just email your candidate, call your candidate.
And what towns are you in? What towns are you
in? I start in Thompson, Putnam. I have Pomfret now, which was a new town for me. I have Killingly, Brooklyn, Scotland, and then Mansfield and Wyndham and Canterbury.
Yep.
9 towns.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and that's a lot of ground to cover. So if anyone wanted to volunteer to go door knocking with me in Mansfield and Wyndham, I'm really looking for people to go out with me or attend events even.
Yeah, let me know, 'cause
Um,
I'm up there on Monday and Wednesdays too, so I'd be happy to help you go door knocking for an hour. And I need some of your signage too for Canterbury, because I've been delivering over that area. So I'll meet up with you maybe this
I
week.
have signs that hopefully will be in this week.
Okay,
We
cool.
kind of got a late order.
Yeah.
I have to agree with Dan about the CEP program. I think it's beneficial to the incumbent who has a list of names and they can just
Yeah,
put it out there but for someone like myself coming into this race, that was such an obstacle. I started in March and we finished that in August, we raised something like $14,000. It was not an easy thing. 300 signatures I thought would be nothing. 300 signatures was a challenge, and raising the funds. I think that we did it. We proved ourselves that we can do it, but unfortunately, we don't have signs yet.
yeah. Well, I know that Mayflexer, somebody made a joke about it, but it's probably, there's a little truth to it, because I know a lot of people in your area are very conservative, and it kind of shocked me that she was winning. But she gets the Yukon college kids, so I hear she just, walks on campus. And Biden came to Yukon last year, and some CTRAMM board members went there, and we got eaten alive. I mean, these Yukon kids were not having it at all. So if there's any way that anybody can lobby for you on that campus, I'm happy to help. But it's I think that's where you need some more support, is in those college areas, with that younger voting base.
You're exactly right. May has lost in all the other towns,
Yeah.
and then won in Mansfield and Wyndham and taken the seat.
Yeah. So
And
you gotta
that's
do
been
some
like,
door knocking there. I'm happy to help. Yeah, let me know.
I've done some door knocking, but we also need to get every single voter to
Yeah.
go out and vote in the other towns, because we need to raise our numbers in the other towns.
It's really important. I mean, so the last midterm elections, I think it was something like 200,000 Republicans didn't go out and vote. We have 400,000. So half of us didn't go out and vote. And I have to be honest, I wasn't Republican, but I didn't go out and vote in the last governor's election. I mean, I did have a kid then, but I didn't realize what was happening. I have to be honest. I didn't realize how it happened. I wasn't educated on the process. So I kind of felt like it was so overwhelming. Like, why even bother to get involved? And I was also one of those people that always said, what's one vote? I was totally one of those people, until I really saw that one vote was winning these races across the state in Connecticut. And how horrible some of these people were. When somebody does something bad to your kid, you really kind of stand up and figure out a way to defend them, right? So that's what it was for me.
I think a lot of people, though, were sleeping for a while, but
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we're going to see I'm hoping that we're going to see some career politicians voted out of office.
That would
We're
be
going to see some
amazing.
people that have been there for way too long, making decisions for us that don't identify with us.
Right.
So cross your fingers and say a prayer and get everybody out there to vote.
Yeah. And I hate to say this too, but like, there's a lot of money in the Hartford machine. There just is. And a lot of these people raise their money in like days. So if they have money, and they have, they've already been in the system for a long time, we are the people that have to get out and help these candidates, like us parents that weren't involved. There's so many of us. And again, the unaffiliated voter is the largest voting bloc in Connecticut. So the people that don't care about politics are the most important ones at this point. And also the Republicans, we gotta unite and just get behind these candidates, guys, because there's enough of us, to take the state back. If we vote like this is a presidential election, we can get like 75% of people out, we got this. So, tell a friend, especially like I said, CTRAMM we lobby against the mandates thing, but this is a big parental rights election. There's so many things on the table here. But if people don't want a COVID-19 vaccine mandate, guys, we got to flip a couple of these branches and the governor's seat. We just have to.
It's really scary to think of a 5-year-old or younger having this COVID vaccine, or any individual. that really scares me. Every time I hear the advertisements on TV, to have your child vaccinated, I just want to vomit.
It makes me sick to take the choice away, and how many legislators looked me in the face and said, this has nothing, the removal of the religious exemption has nothing to do with the COVID vaccine. I want to know the number of religious exemptions in the state of Connecticut right now, because I can guarantee you it either doubled or tripled when they tried to take it away, because our organization basically let every single, we tried to let every single person in the state of Connecticut know what was happening. Because it's your only opt-out if they mandate COVID now. You know, all those people that got it or grandfathered it, and there's still thousands that are like, wait, what happened? They took it away, you know, like it's hard. And again, we have a DPH commissioner that says she would mandate it. So we had a governor.
Correct me if I'm
mandate
wrong,
it.
but it extends to colleges. So if a state school, if a student wants to go to state school, they can, or, you know, college, community college, they cannot go on campus if they're not fully vaccinated.
Right. Yeah, it breaks my heart.
That I mean, that is just wrong on so many levels.
Well, I know that, you know, a lot of these universities are floating by on COVID money, and like Western, I hear, is like into their reserves and they don't really have any. So you know, enrollment is down because they did that.
Impacting them.
You know, and I hate to say, you know, what goes around comes around, but enrollment's down across Connecticut, and that's, you know, that's going to hurt our state in general. And then he blocked
Yeah.
anyone with an exemption, a religious exemption, from coming in here. So, you know, yeah, it doesn't do Connecticut any good. But meanwhile, you know, it's kids with, you know, get to express themselves however they want in school, except if it's, you know, when it comes to vaccine choice, it's hard. It's definitely hard raising kids like this, but that's why we got to get this back, guys. So get involved. If you have any questions, you know, again, reach out to CTRAMM. We're going to be going live. Suzanne's going to be coming live with us too, in a few weeks. So again, if you're in one of those towns, she represents a ton of towns. So again, if you're in one of those towns, please jump on so you can learn how to help her. Again, we heard from Carrie Lentz and Daniel Moresi too. Carrie's running in the House and Daniel's running in the Senate. So get involved, guys. And like for me personally, I know Heather Summers has a lot of ground coverage. She's an incumbent. She's the only female Republican senator that we have. So it'd be really nice to get some more. But so I feel like my time would be better spent helping Suzanne, who's new and needs boots on the ground. You know, so I'm going to go help her. So just spread your time wisely. Like if you know that your candidate not necessarily has it in the bag, but that somebody else needs more support, like just because they're not in your district doesn't mean you can't help them. If you like firmly believe in what they support, like go help them walk around town, you know, do something. I can't say it enough, guys. These people really need help, especially because they're going up against a super majority. It's like a super PAC majority of Democrats, progressive ones. That's about it. Kristen, do you have anything else you want to say?
That is it. Good night,
All right.
everyone.
Does anybody else have any questions? Thank you guys for staying on so long. Again, this was recorded, so we're going to go ahead and put it up. And then, okay, so we have someone on here, Diane. So she is heading up an advocacy group for CT colleges. So if anybody has any questions with colleges, she put her phone number right here in the chat, guys. Okay. There's a lot of amazing people. So please use CTRAMM as a networking platform. If you want to go out and volunteer with somebody and you want someone to go with you, please post in CTRAMM, use it as a networking platform to find people in your district. You know, so that you don't go alone. I don't want anyone going alone. Today I brought my daughter with me and we just went around to like 10 different places I knew that needed CORDA signs. You know, so again, guys, reach out to us. If you have questions, go to those sites, find your representation, and you know, get involved, guys. We have like 50 days left to try to flip CT. That's it. All right, guys, have a great night.